What if I told you the biggest blunder in tech history, a deal that literally created the wealthiest person on earth, is about to repeat itself? But this time, there's a sleeping giant overlooked by the stock market, poised to dominate the AI era. Cast your mind back to the early 1980s. IBM, the undisputed king of computing, needed an operating system for their revolutionary personal computer. They approached a small, virtually unknown company run by a young man named Bill Gates. What happened next would change everything. IBM, in their infinite wisdom, struck a deal with Bill Gates. It meant that he could license his operating system, MS-DOS, non-exclusively to anyone.
We think we have what you need.
That's a start.
Now, we know that IBM has set up this place to compete head-on with Apple, and that you're gearing up to come out with a personal computer that will wipe them out. So we can get you an operating system.
What kind of operating system?
It's called DOS. Of course, we don't just want to sell it to you outright. We want to be able to license it to you.
You want to retain ownership?
Right.
Well, the profits are in the computers themselves, not this software stuff.
Just think about that for a minute. IBM, the titan, didn't see the value of owning the software that powered their own hardware. They thought the value was in the boxes, the physical computers. Big mistake. Fast forward a few years and Microsoft, due to that seemingly innocuous deal, became the largest software company on the planet, leaving IBM, the once unassailable Goliath, struggling to keep up, forever lagging behind the company they didn't foresee creating. It was a monumental blunder, a historical oversight that defined an entire era. Now, why am I digging up ancient tech history? Because, my friends, history never repeats itself, but it often rhymes. And what's happening right now in the world of artificial intelligence is a striking echo of that fateful deal with IBM, creating a whole new wave of winners and a whole lot of losers. Today we see two distinct paths emerging in the AI race. On one side, you have companies pouring billions into developing their own set of foundational AI models. They're building the core intelligence, the brain of the operation. On the other side, you have companies choosing to license these powerful AI models from others, essentially renting the intelligence. And here's where it gets interesting. Remember IBM and their blunder? Well, many companies today are making a similar choice, often without realizing the long-term consequences. Take Adobe, for example, a fantastic company, a leader in creative softwares. They've integrated AI beautifully into their product suite, like Photoshop and Premiere Pro. But here's the crucial detail. Adobe doesn't own the foundational AI models behind these features. They're licensing them from the AI powerhouses. This means that for every AI feature in Adobe's suite, no matter how mind-blowing, they will always be paying a toll to the underlying model providers. They are essentially becoming the packaging around the product and not the product itself. The core value is coming from somewhere else, and that is a dangerous place to be in. Imagine the future margin compression and lack of overall control over your business. Now let's talk about the sleeping giant, the company that the stock market and its infinite short-sightedness has completely overseen in the AI era. I'm talking about Google. For months we've heard doomsayers say,
AI is the death of Google. ChatGPT will kill Google search.
The narrative has been that Google is a dinosaur in the face of an AI meteor ready to destroy it off the face of the earth. But let me ask you this, where's the disruption? If Google search is failing, then why do their revenues continue to grow? It's been 2 years since ChatGPT has been released, and their revenues continue compounding. Despite all the hype around other AI models, Google continues to be used. This brings me to a timeless piece of investment wisdom from the legendary Peter Lynch, from his phenomenal book, One Up on Wall Street. If you buy through the link in the description, you will be supporting your boy and also bettering yourself, so do that if you feel it. Lynch talks about the unique advantage that retail investors have over institutional investors. We actually use the products daily. We're on the ground experiencing and using these products firsthand. We therefore know whether the products are good long before the institutional investors can even catch on. So I want you to ask yourself honestly, when you have an everyday question, what's the best local coffee shop? How do I fix the faucet? Do you immediately go to ChatGPT, or do you instinctively open Google search? My bet is you probably go to ChatGPT for more advanced tasks like brainstorming or deep research. But for finding a product to buy, for getting directions, or for quickly looking up a fact, where do you go? Google. You don't go to ChatGPT to find a product to buy. And that, my friends, is where the money's at. That is where Google's advertising empire truly shines. I bet you use Google or YouTube multiple times a day for searching products or checking reviews. In fact, looking at the statistics now, they show that Google's position in e-commerce is moving modestly in their direction, taking market share from competitors like Amazon. When researching products online, Google's share ticked up by a few percentage points in the past couple quarters. Same again when comparing prices, and the same again when the searcher knows exactly what product they're going to purchase. Notice how ChatGPT just makes up a slither. This same trend can be seen to a larger extent in young people aged 16 to 24, with moves of 4 to 10% in each category over the last couple of quarters. Now, Google understands something about you, the user, that you might not even realize. They've subtly, brilliantly segmented their AI integration based on your intent. Notice how when you search for a product, let's say best noise cancelling headphones, you still get Google search's typical results, along with Google's paid ads and links to retailers. You don't get a long conversational response from Gemini AI. Why? Because Google has identified you in that moment as a ripened consumer ready to click buy on something. You are valuable. You are an immediate revenue opportunity for their advertisers. But when you're doing deep research, when you're asking complex questions about science or philosophy, that's when Google will give you Gemini. You are not in buying mode, and therefore you are a less valuable consumer to their advertising machine. Think about it. How many of these other AI models are running at extreme losses just to answer your questions? Their immense amount of computing power is costly and is like a furnace to their cash. As they grow larger, so does their furnace. They need a profitable distribution platform, and fast. Yet Google, who has that, already is seen as a dinosaur. Google search continues to grow in profitability. Why? 2 reasons. 1, Google owns the AI models that they plug in to their products. They're not paying a massive licensing fee to the likes of Anthropic or OpenAI. They're not stuck being the packaging. They are the underlying product. This gives Google flexibility, profitability, and an unassailable competitive advantage. They can integrate AI across their entire ecosystem. Search, YouTube, Android, Maps, Gmail, each with over 1 billion users, each ready to have AI integration from Google's own proprietary models. They have the AI model and the distribution platforms. Just as IBM made the colossal mistake by not owning the operating system that ran on their computers, many companies today are making the same missteps by not owning the foundational AI that powers their core products. Take Apple with their failed Apple Intelligence launch, now exploring using external models from Anthropic. Microsoft with their partial reliance on OpenAI, a relationship that's seemingly souring. Yet both companies demand a premium PE ratio of above 30, whilst Google is stuck on 20, only 2/3 that of Apple and Microsoft. They are quietly building an empire while the rest scramble to rent a piece of the pie. Remember that sometimes the best opportunities are in plain sight, in the products you use every single day. I do want to mention that in my stocks and shares ISA, I am a shareholder of Google. The portfolio is sitting at around £50,000 with a return of over 14,000 and a rate of return of 118%. I've recently started buying Google and it's currently a £3,182 position, with a £230 of that being upside. During the recording of this video, Alphabet Google released their earnings and the shares have been trading drastically up. Their PE ratio is still sitting at around 20.38 with a forward PE of 19.38. Their revenue after the latest earnings was great, with their revenue up 13.13% year over year. But here's where it really gets juicy. Net income up 31.85% year over year, and the earnings per share even better at 34.72%. This is an incredibly fast growing earnings for a company. Over the 10-year, 24.38%. When I do some estimations for Google's further growth, I can estimate an EPS growth rate of 17%, which is below the 10-year average, and an appropriate EPS or PE multiple of 25. From that assumption, I get a rate of return of 21.65% from today's price. Now, you could say that those estimations are incredibly bullish, but personally, I think they are realistic. I am no financial advisor. This video is just for entertainment purposes. Always do your own research. What do you think about the AI race? Do you think that Google will emerge the overall winner, or do you see someone else emerging as victorious? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And for that, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
I'm hopping out Ferrari. My house is 3 stories. I'm still independent cause Jive couldn't afford me. The meetings were boring. For real, I was snoring. The VP was fine, yeah, she treated me kinda corny. But that's another story. Let's get back.